Shabbat Shalom. We knew that there was a lot going on this Shabbat, and you've heard a lot of Torah already. So don't worry, this is only going to take 3 to 5 hours. It's going to be fine. I wanted to share just a quick thought for everyone here, and maybe take a few seconds to talk about it, because earlier we've been talking a lot this morning about Israel. Thanks, Ilan, for a reason to talk about Israel. Because Ilan is moving there, because some people are back from there, some people's kids are already there, some people are headed there. By the way, we have a congregational trip in December. If anyone would like to join us, we are potentially actually partnering with another synagogue in the area too to go, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And this past Thursday, we had a class on the lawn where we talked a little bit about our connection to the land of Israel and what does it mean. And I wanted to share some of that conversation here because I didn't realize how much I needed it and wanted to have this. So the question that I'm going to ask you, and we don't need to do a whole turn to your neighbor thing, we've done it already, it's fine, but I want you to think to yourself what your answer to this question is why should American Jews care about Israel? Okay? And I'm not, there's no anything behind this question other than pedagogy, right? Just to be very clear. So why should those of us sitting in this room right now, what connection do we have to Israel? And why should we care about it? I promise, Rachel, I'll give you time for your repetition, but I can't resist. Take 36 seconds. Turn to the person next to you. If you don't know who they are, introduce yourself. Say, hi, my name is Ethan. It's nice to meet you. And answer this question in a real way, right? What connection do we have to Israel? Why should we care about Israel? I'm not sure if it's a given or not, but what it is an important thing for us to think about. Okay? Take your time, 36 seconds. Ready, set, go. All right, take 9 more seconds. Yeah, all right. People who are here at the Wednesday meeting are all giving me the time's up mark. Okay. All right, friends. Let's bring it back in, but great conversation. Once, years ago, when I was at my old synagogue, the head rabbi, in the middle of some turmoil that was happening, just sort of walked into the middle of the room on a Shabbat morning and says, "Israel, who has thoughts?" And just let people talk. It was pretty incredible. We're not doing that right now. But I would love to hear. So the question was, what connection do we have? Why should we care, right? What answers we have. And so I want to take, if people have answers that they want to give or steal from the person that was next to you, that's great. But with a twist, since we've already done this once today and it's getting long, I want no more than 3 words. Okay? So take a second, refine what you were going to say. Give me your answer of why we should care in 3 words. If you can do it in 1 word, the bonus points, okay? All right? And with all of the, never mind. We're all kind and polite here. We're going to be kind and polite. It's going to be great. Mr. Hirsch. Bullshit, persecution, refuge. Okay. That could be on our business cards. Expulsion, persecution, refuge. Meaning, you did it beautifully in the 3 words, and then I get to have all the other words. That's why we're doing it this way. So, meaning that there is expulsion from other places and persecution in other places, and we need a place to be a refuge. Great. For 100 million bonus points, what kind of Zionism is that? Anyone? And who's the sort of founder of that kind of a Zionism? I was going to say, I'll give you a hint. He's got a whole mountain in, it's not really a mountain, but Herzl. Right, Theodor Herzl, okay? Right, so, sorry. Herzl, right, with this political Zionism, right, that we need a place to go where by the way, this was Kaplan Zionism as well, right, that wherever we are, even if it seems like it might be going well, we're going to need a place that could be our refuge eventually. That's what Israel has to be. Shabbat Shalom, that's it. Great. Who's got another one? Yeah, Jody. Ancestral homeland. Okay, so there's a sort of historical tie to this particular area, which is why it can't be Uganda, right? It's got to be here. And it's ancestral. It's also, let's lump into that one another thing, which is why is it important to us, not only because of our history, but also, your husband can help you out on that, okay? Right, that we've got, it's also, right, we're reading this morning, right, that God's promising us this land. It's so important that Moses is pleading to see it, right? There's a tie not only in our sort of history, but in our soul, in our DNA, right? That this is what God has promised us. And so then going to Israel now is what? In that, right? So one read of is it is there to be our refuge. One read is it's there to be our homeland, promised land, right? It is fulfilling a divine promise to be there and to build there. Let's do another one. Yeah, Mark. 3 words or less, in case people are just a reminder. Okay. Wise and discerning people. Okay. Very nice. So, meaning that Israel is going to be a place or a people who are wise and discerning, and where they get to be wise and discerning on their own terms, right? And it's on us, right? I can be wise and discerning in Poughkeepsie, right? But I can't necessarily be sort of fully Jewishly wise and discerning in control of the area unless I'm there. Okay, so there's a version of the Herzl, but it's also getting us into a little bit more of a different kind of Zionism, maybe, that is a cultural, right? Zionism. This is sort of the Achad Ha'am kind of Asher Ginsburg, right? It is not only is it a place for Jewish autonomy, but it is a place for Jewish creation, innovation, arts, philosophy, right? Whatever that culture might be, right? Which we can't necessarily fully get wherever we are here, and so we have to have our own place for it there. All right, we're gonna what? And morality. I'll add that in as well. All right, let's take 2 more, and then we're going to keep going, but I'm probably not going to hold us to that also. So please, Mr. Lerner. Geulah / the third temple. Okay. I really want to ask you to say more about that. So, meaning it is redemption and the third temple, which will be rebuilt, B'meiras b'yameinu, unless you're one of those people who has like a red heifer in your basement getting ready for it. Is that, yeah, you're okay, nice. All right. The third temple will be rebuilt. So what kind of Zionism is that? Religious Zionism, right? It is a religious Zionism akin to this biblical historical, but actually looking forward, right? Saying that redemption will come because of this, which is not a given, A, that that's what's going to happen, or B, that that's what our sources say or that what we should do. Here's one quick story, and if you're here on Thursday, I apologize, you already heard it, but one quick story, then we'll finish with you, I promise. In the 40s, this kind of Zionism was not popular, and it was not actually the movement. The conservative movement was an anti-Zionist movement, right? Because if you think that it is about the redemption of our people, then we shouldn't be the ones to go there, right? We should wait until the Messiah comes and says, hey, everybody, let's go, right? And if that hasn't happened, we shouldn't do it. And so here, and I'm looking around the room and I'm wondering, I don't think there's anyone who is there, but there's a great story that in 48, at the graduation of JTS, people are nodding their heads like, I got it right? Okay, good. At the graduation of JTS, there were, Rabbi Dr. Finkelstein, Louis Finkelstein, was an anti-Zionist, right? He was against this sort of founding of the state or the modern state, and he refused to let Hatikva be sung at the JTS graduation. This is May of 48, right? And the younger rabbis were so into it and wanted to do it, and they really wanted to, and Finkelstein wouldn't let him. But Finkelstein was also a pioneer of Christian-Jewish relations, and so all the seminarians knew their counterparts over at Union Theological Seminary and Riverside Church across the street. So they had given to the church, it has a giant tower and church bells, they had given the music, the sheet music, for Hatikva to the seminarians at Union Theological Seminary and said, at 11 a.m. on this day, we want you to play it. And so at 10:59, the graduating rabbinical class stood up in the middle of the graduation. Finkelstein was like, what's going on? And then the church next door starts playing Hatikva really loudly, and they all sang along, and Finkelstein stormed off the stage. Right? Because that was where that was in that day, right? And by the way, to this day, on Yom Ha'atzmaut, Riverside Church plays Hatikva on their bells, which is pretty awesome. Yes. And so, right, so there is a piece of it that is religiously redemptive, and that's not an uncomplicated way to think about it. So we have a political haven, we have religious redemption, we have a historical tie, we have the creation of what it means to sort of be Jewish culture and morality. We've got, and there's more? There's ones I've forgotten? Family. And you win because only one word. Okay. And because, Abba. Yeah. So, okay. So the Abba of our new Aliyah says family, right? That these, regardless of everything else, right? These are people who are our kin, right? And connections in that way. Beautiful. David, did you want to have, no? Okay. All right. Then, friends, why are we talking about all of this right now? Other than it's just a fun little jaunt through history and a story about the time that rabbinical students were mean to the chancellor. Because what we think about of why we are a Zionist, whether we're a Zionist or not in this room, and that's something that we can all talk about at Kiddush, and it'll be great. But we have a connection to this Israel, and its family, and its refuge, and its pride is actually, Reformed Rabbi Eugene Borowitz writes that it's so that we can have pride in the accomplishment of our family and our people, right? Whether it's the creation of a morality or the adaptation of morality or of culture, whatever it is going to affect how we relate to the modern state of Israel now. It's going to relate to what we expect from the modern state of Israel. Right? And what we want them to be and who we want them to be and what we think our role is in being a part of it. Because we have a role, we all have a role, but what that role is dependent on what we want Israel to be and what we think it needs to be vis-a-vis us and our people. So there's no answer to that question. The answer is you're all correct, right? But for all of us, it's something that we need to think about in the days and weeks and months and years ahead of why should we be connected, and then building off of our why, how, and what is that going to look like? Thank you, friends. Shabbat Shalom. We turn to page 184 for